Welcome to the Tipsy Guest Podcast. I am your host, Marco Buenrostro, and every week I'm here with the top industry experts, amazing clients, and all my vendor BFFs to bring you the best tips, advice, and juicy behind-the-scenes stories to make wedding and event planning a breeze. So grab your favorite drink and let's get this party started! Hey guys, welcome back to the Tipsy Guest. I am Marco, your host, and today I have Dusty from Poppy Lane Floral Designs with me. Hello.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Girl, I am excited. We've been talking for months and months and months to get you in here. And I know, we have our busy seasons, and I'm finally able to have you as a guest.
Yes, I'm so excited. I know spring was so busy. I really think every time we talked, I was like, oh, now I'm booked. I'm booked. So I was like, this summer, let's make it happen. So here we are.
Yes, thank you so much for joining me today. And guys, today we're going to be talking about something really, really cool. So of course, we're going to be talking flowers because that's what you do.
Yes.
But I know you are an expert, and I have to tell you, I am obsessed with your social media game. Oh my God, it is on point.
Thank you. I worked really hard to familiarize myself with social media. So thank you.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. We are going to be discussing everything social media, how to make your Instagram feed look amazing, how not to confuse people with what you post, when to post, like all the cool stuff, And this is, of course, this could be catered towards our couples, but then also the vendors, our vendors out there that listen to the show. This is going to be a master class on what to do with your social media to make sure that you're attracting the right clients, right?
Yes, exactly.
All right, so first, let's talk about your business. Please tell our listeners what you do, how long you've been in business. We want to hear about your company first.
Okay, so I started my business in 2023. I was working in corporate America for construction companies for 10 years, and I just knew that I had a creative side and I wanted to do something with it. How much my business has grown in the past 2 years was literally not even in the realm of my brain capacity. I was thinking it was just going to kind of be a little hobby job. And when I first started out, I actually didn't even want to do weddings. I was like, I'll just make like little flower arrangements here and there for baby showers or, Valentine's Day, whatever. And I was like, I don't think I want to go into the wedding industry. It just seems really hard. But I think that was probably just my confidence because I knew that there's so many amazing floral design companies in Central Texas. And I think I was just a little bit intimidated. And then a friend that was a wedding planner took a chance on me and asked me if I would be interested in doing flowers for one of her couples. I said yes. And after I pulled out of the venue that day, I was like, that's it.
This is it.
Wedding industry is where I belong. I'm like, it is bougie. Like, people love everything pretty. It is fun. It's like such a fun world to be in with all of the vendors and the clients. I was like, that's it. I'm not doing anything else. We're only doing weddings now. So that's what we do. 2 years later, only weddings. I think to date, my last wedding in the spring was number 81. Since I started in 23. So I felt like that was a pretty big number. And then, of course, I'll hit over 100 by the end of the year. So
that is so cool. Congratulations.
Thank you. So we specialize in bold, fun flowers. I love color. Obviously, I love a classic moment too. But I always say, like, white flowers don't have to be boring. So if you want that classic palette, let's add some spice to it, make it a little bit more than just white and green, and just make everything fun.
I think that is part of the whenever I go to your feed on your Instagram, I think that is exactly what's like speaking to me when I'm scrolling through your stuff.
Yeah.
The colors, like everything is so vibrant, everything is so like beautiful and fun. I mean, I guess the keyword right there is fun.
Yeah.
So I mean, we love our modern couples. Somebody that wants to take a risk and showcase a pop of color and not go so, like the classic style. I mean, of course, classic is very elegant, it's beautiful.
Stunning.
But I always love when couples have fun with their flowers, with decor in general, with the color palettes they select for their weddings. It's so cool. I absolutely love that.
Yes, and I know color it's really trending right now, so that has really worked in my favor on, you know, the message that I was trying to put out and the clients that I was trying to attract. But I think it's really cool to try to maybe not necessarily match the flowers all the way to the palette. So for instance, if they want orange and pink, like let's throw in maybe like a butter yellow or a coral, like let's make it a little bit more than just orange and pink. So that's my favorite part of the creativity process, is kind of opening the client's eyes to like what the possibilities are that go with the whole theme of the wedding.
Absolutely love it. And oh my God. Okay. So I want you to tell our listeners where they can go see all this stuff that we're talking about. Where can they find you on social media?
I am on all social medias, primarily Instagram, and my handle is Hey Poppy Lane, Hey, like hey girl. And then I'm also on Facebook, Poppy Lane Floral Design, TikTok, Hey Poppy Lane, Threads, Hey Poppy Lane. Threads is a wild space for wedding vendors. I don't know if y'all have been there before, but it can be a little overwhelming.
Really?
Yes.
All right, good to know. I honestly downloaded it when it first came out, but then I was like, I don't need to be on all these different things, you know, because whatever you post to Instagram automatically gets posted to Threads. So I was like, you know what? I don't even need to go be in there. I'm just gonna, whatever I post on Instagram, it's gonna be over there for whoever's following me there. But yes, I'm like, no. Like right now, for example, like we're watching Love Island, and I have a little group chat, you know, with my Love Island people, and they always send me threads about it, and I'm like, don't stop sending me threads. Just send me the Instagram or the TikTok, like just, you know, whatever. And they're like, just download it again. So I guess now that you're saying this, I guess it's my sign to download it again.
It gets very spicy over there. Wedding vendors seem to be very opinionated on Threads.
Ooh.
I want to tell them like, hey, you might want to calm it down a little bit because your clients can see that when they Google you. But yeah, there's some opinions on Threads.
I'm gonna download it again today.
I'm sure your algorithm will be just like mine, and it's just going to be full of wedding industry stuff.
Which is good. That's exactly what I need.
Absolutely. I'm like, well, let me go in Threads and see what the tea is today.
Oh my God. And speaking of tea, let's get started with this.
Okay.
I mean, people, at least for me, you know, with my photo booth business, I get a lot of events from Instagram. I am very active. I'm always posting about, you know, the weddings that we do. We do stories, we do reels, we do posts. Like, we try to share everything because that's what couples want to see. They want to see real weddings. They want to see behind the scenes. They want to see, like, you know, what they can potentially get if they hire us as well.
Right.
So I want you to talk to me about that. Like, when did you realize, or have you always been so, like, you know, has this always been a thing for you where you want to make sure that your social media game is always on point? How did you get started with being so good, you know, on doing that?
Well, I will say, I'm chronically online. I probably scroll too much, but I think that it came to a benefit for me because I quickly recognized when I decided that's what I'm going to do, full steam ahead, weddings and events. I was still working my corporate job, and I started this company, Zero Money Startup, and I had zero brand visibility. The only people that knew about me were my family, and none of them were getting married. So I was like, okay, we have to do something quick. What is an easy way I can start getting my brand out there that doesn't cost anything? It only costs my time. And I knew that social media was the key on that. TikTok, Instagram, like immediately. So I started kind of researching myself, and the algorithm is kind of forever changing what they push out, you know. So I was really thinking, I was like, okay, I'm going to need to invest a little bit in this because I really want to learn it. I don't want to just be throwing stuff out there and hoping that it lands. I want to know that what I'm doing and the time that I'm investing on this, because our time is also an investment. And I was spending a ton of time on working on my social media. So I ended up joining, my business mentor has a social media class. It's called Digital Profit Queens. And I joined the class and immediately, snap, Like, she viewed my Instagram, and I remember the following day she was holding a class, a live class online. And I have known this lady forever, and she's built multiple 7-figure businesses. So I knew I was in the right hands. And she looked at my Instagram and she was like, okay, I normally wouldn't do this, but I am going to call you out because I know you want to move this along quickly. She was like, the first thing I see is the first mistake you're making. And I was like, what is that? And she said, you're posting tips and tricks for DIY brides. She said, are you trying to attract a DIY bride? I said, well, no. And she was like, okay, so you're posting trying to get a lot of clicks because you know that that's going to go a little bit more viral because people want to learn how to do things for free. But you're not going after a client.
You're not going to get business from it.
Right. So she was like, why are we doing this? Why are we wasting our time talking to DIY clients? You need to be positioning yourself to the client that you want to see in your world. And I was just like, oh my gosh, okay. I was like, so do I delete everything and start over? And she was like, no, just here, start with this. And so she had like a little 30-day pretty much boot camp, like a 30-day boot camp to follow. And that was about 1.5 years ago. So I started with that. And when I started with her, I had like about 500 followers, I think. And that was probably mostly from me promoting it on my personal pages. And then now I have right under 2,000. So I grew a lot.
Yeah.
And it's good growth. It's actual clients. It's vendor friends. It's not just a bunch of people that
just to
are
follow.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that that's one thing that people get really caught up on is how many clicks, how many views, how many followers do you have, when really that does not necessarily matter, because you're only trying to reach your specific client. So if 200 people are viewing my reel and I book one wedding off of that, to me, that's amazing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I think that that's one thing that, you know, when you start a social media page, you're like, I need to get to 10,000, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. And you really don't. You just need to have your message out there that attracts your clients.
So what do you think is I guess consistency is definitely something that you have to be very aware of, to make sure that you don't confuse people.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on I guess at the beginning you used to do that. Of course, you change your ways of posting. But what are your thoughts on, for example, vendors that offer all kinds of services? Do you think they should have a like an account for each of the services that they provide? Let's say, I'm just going to put an example out there. Let's say, for example, you are a wedding planner, and then you also offer, I don't know, DJ services and bartending services and photo booth services and, I don't know, rentals or whatever. Should they have individual accounts, or should they just start throwing everything in the same one? Will people get confused? How would that work better?
I think it is a little bit confusing when businesses and companies have so many different things going on, but I think that you can run it all under one account as long as you're really sticking to a plan. So for instance, with my business, Poppy Lane, I have my 5 content pillars that I talk about. So obviously, we post about weddings that we've done at venues and recap. So recap is one of them. One of them is bold and bright designs. One of them is how to make the most and maximize your budget. That's really important to me, educating the clients, on transition pieces and stuff like that. So I have my 5 pillars set out. I think if a business is offering multiple things under one umbrella, to make each thing a pillar, and maybe one week talk about pillar 1, the next week talk about pillar 2. Don't post about your photo booth in the morning and then your DJ service in the afternoon. It's just going to get congested and you're not going to be known for one thing. You need to make sure that you're sticking long enough with one item that's what people are recognizing before you move on to the next.
Okay, I like that. And then what do you do you think posting once a day is good? Twice a day? Like, what's the best time to post? How I guess with the algorithm, like what works better for or when you're trying to promote your wedding business?
I think that I've tried posting at different times of day. For me personally, if I make my post in the morning, that stays pretty consistent with views. If I post really late at night, hardly any views, or in the middle of the day when people are working, not really. On the weekends, I've noticed that my views are pretty low. So I just stay consistent. I schedule all of my content out, which is another whole another that's another hill that we'll climb on another day. But I have mine set anywhere from like 8 a.m. to 8:45. And I kind of go like 8 and then Tuesday 8:15 and just kind of keep it all right there. I figure, people get to work, they get settled in, maybe scroll a little bit before they get busy for the day. So that's what I like to do. Definitely consistency. If you are not showing up, you basically just become irrelevant online. Posting one time a week is not going to work. I would say max or minimum 4.
Okay.
For sure. And I actually just noticed over the past weekend, because I did not post July 4th, 5th, or 6th, and my reach went from 60,000 to 29,000 in those 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a significant drop. I was like, wow.
Wow. And how, I guess right now that you mentioned that you schedule your posts, do you, I guess how far in advance do you schedule? Or
it just depends on how busy I am. During wedding season, it can get a little, I'm scheduling maybe a couple days out. Right now in the summer, I have everything prepared for this whole month. Okay. I haven't recorded everything yet, but it's all there. Now, the only thing I will say about scheduling as a vendor, obviously weekly, we're getting new content, we're seeing new things, and I'm like, I want to post this one instead. So I might go in and you'll see me double post that day.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask you if you ever you already have your stuff scheduled, but then you're like, you know what? I want to post this other thing.
Yes, I will double post. Or if I see something that I feel like I need to talk about, and I'm kind of a little bit of a yapper. So I do a lot of direct to camera talking videos. If I see something on Threads that I feel like I need to give my opinion on or something, I will go ahead and make a second video for that day and talk about it. I don't really see that it doesn't mess anything up. If anything, you're just adding more content to your page for your clients. And I think that that's the most important part is you have to be consistent, stay relevant. I believe it was The Knot came out with 2024 statistics. And they say that couples are looking online, researching wedding vendors for 6 to 8 hours a week.
Okay.
And so younger millennials, Gen Z, where are they looking? They're not looking on Google. They're looking on social media. So you need to stay consistent so you are constantly showing up on their feed. So every day when they're getting on and they're doing their scrolling and they're looking for you're there.
Sure.
Yeah. And then you just need to make sure that through your content, no trust. So you want them to trust you, you want them to like you, and you need them to know you. So anyone can post a picture of a bouquet. Yeah. Flowers are beautiful, right? And of course, pictures, when I post my wedding galleries, when photographers share them with me, that goes over very well. People love to see that. But as a new client coming in, if everything is just there, still photo, I think this younger group that we have coming up getting married, they want to see, who are you as a person? Who's going to be with me at the wedding day? And I just made a post about that the other day. A florist, for instance, I'm there pretty much all day long. So they need to make sure that we kind of vibe,
Yeah, no, for sure. So do you think posting, of course, business-related stuff, which will be the main thing, but then should you also get personal, with day-to-day things that you do? What are your thoughts on that? Just wedding vendors posting about their personal stuff.
Personally, for me, I don't really feel like that fits my brand and what my content pillars are. I will do behind the scenes or day in the life content, but I do that on my stories. Okay. So sometimes on the weekends, I will do starting at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, this is at 5 a.m. You're getting married at 5. This is what I'm doing. And then what am I doing at 9? What am I doing at 12? All the way up to when we're back at midnight cleaning up. So I will do that. But I typically only do that on stories. That's really pretty much the only like live stuff that I do. And I think that as far as posting that I'm going out with my girlfriends to have an espresso martini, that's for my personal page.
Yeah.
So that's just me personally. Everybody, has their own thing. But that's how I feel about it.
Okay. All right. And then have you noticed that you get more engagement, I guess, like on a regular post, on a carousel, or a reel, or a story? Like, what do you think works best, when you're trying to promote you as a business?
For clients, it's going to be reels, kind of showing installs or talking about hot topics in the floral world. A lot of people, the term repurpose is thrown around so much in the floral world, like how can I repurpose my flowers and whatever. If I talk about something like that, that's very relevant in what people are wanting to know. That's popular with clients, popular with my vendor friend community, and networking wise, I think it's more educational content like my carousels, which is also super important. So at the same time, when we are thinking about posting on social media for our clients, we also need to be engaging with our friends on social media too, especially, and this is what I was doing when I first started, and I think it worked really well for me, is I knew the venues I wanted to work at. I wanted to work at Hotel Emma. I wanted to work at Kendall Point in Boerne. And so I would go and I would engage on their stuff, because when clients are looking at their page, then they see me on there. Yeah. And I know for a fact it worked, because some of my clients would tell me, I would be like, how did you hear about me? And they would be like, oh, I saw you commenting, so I went and looked at your page. I was like, oh, well, it's working. So that part I think is also really important, and something that I think people kind of forget about, because it's all directed to the clients. But we also need to be marketing ourselves to the rest of the industry, because we all refer each other. And I mean, I feel like my leads come from Instagram and from referrals. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, same thing. Yeah. It's always so interesting to, like, right now that you mentioned that, with the different venues, because that's how it works. I work at Kendall Point all the time, and it's so funny because like, for example, when I do weddings there and we post a story, that we're there at a wedding, then, we tag the Kendall Point.
Yes.
Then they reshare the story, and then all of a sudden I'm getting like new follows from like brides or from couples.
Yes.
And then I go to their Instagram, and then they're engaged. So they they saw me on the venue's story. So now, and then I'm like, okay, just wait a day or two, and I'm gonna get an inquiry from the person that just followed me because they saw me. And it happens all the time.
Yes,
all the time.
That is exactly how that works, and I think it's so beautiful. I think another thing that we can do is invite as a collaborator.
Yeah.
So I shoot a lot of my own content. I have one girl that helps me all the time. She shoots content for me when we're setting up sometimes. We're not shooting content of anything besides the flowers and our setup. But I'll, span of the venue and put together a really pretty reel, ask the venue if they want to collab on it. Some do, some don't, which I understand. They have their own posting. But those collab reels, they can help both of us out so much. Collab reels can have 20, 30, 40,000 views, where my just regular posting without collabing with anybody is 1,500, 2,000. So that's beautiful, especially when we can work together on social media. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. And then when you I guess right now that you mentioned that like commenting on people or venues or like tagging other vendors, what about clients? Do you think it's appropriate, let's say for example, if you a new couple starts following, like the bride. Normally it's the bride. They go in and follow you. Do you automatically follow them back, or do you not? And you just go like some of their posts. How do you handle a new follow from a potential client?
I follow them back
right away,
and I engage with their content. I'm like, they followed me for a reason.
Yeah.
Let me let them know that I know they're here.
Yeah.
And engage a little bit. I honestly still have some clients on my social media that didn't even choose me. They chose somebody else. And then I see their wedding day and I'm like, hey, girl.
Yeah, that's how I get too.
I'm like, I forgot that it was your wedding today. I'm like, well, obviously you didn't go with Poppy Lane. But anyways, yeah, so I definitely follow back. Let them know that I'm there. I'm active on social media and I see that they're there and they're welcome.
Yeah, I love that. I do the same thing. Like the moment I get a follow from a potential client, I automatically, the first thing I go like is their engagement photo.
Yes.
That is the first one I go like, and then sometimes even comment. And then, yeah, just, I don't know, either that same day I get a DM or they know, they go to my website, they fill out an inquiry form, and I'm like, oh, okay, that name looks familiar. And yeah, I go
Sure
on
enough.
my Instagram, and it's the same person. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty cool. I love to stay active. I mean, people like to see real weddings.
Yes.
Like they want to see what you're up to. They want to see like, what kind of flowers people are using. They want inspiration. And I
Right.
feel like when you're active the way you are on social media, I think that inspires people, like, potential clients, other vendors, because sometimes us as vendors, we can be very organized with certain things, but then we can be very unorganized with other things.
Yeah.
And I do honestly feel like some vendors out there have no clue how to run their social media.
Right.
It's so confusing sometimes. And then I guess, sometimes we as vendors, we talk to each other all the time, either at events or on social media. And sometimes I'm always honest with people. I always ask, what kind of clients are you trying to get? And, they tell me. And then I'm like, well, why are you posting these other things? Like sometimes I see them posting like funny memes and just like stupid stuff. And I'm like, you're not attracting the client that you just told me you want to attract.
Yeah, that's a hard no.
Yeah, so I'm like, you need to be better about posting and keeping your social media consistent. So everything that you've told us today, I mean, that is great information.
Thank you.
I know a lot of our vendors out there are going to be excited that they get to hear all these things, because sometimes I do feel like vendors feel shy, that they feel embarrassed to ask another vendor to collaborate on a post, or sometimes they don't. Or you know what? Something that annoys me so much now that we're talking. This is the moment that I love that we're running out of time here, but I just want to put it out there. When not necessarily a venue, but a vendor in general, they tag almost everyone in the wedding except for us.
Oh, no.
And yeah, like I'm like. At least for me, with the photo booth business, like I see them, they tag the DJ, the floral, the planner, the venue, the decor people, but then they leave the photo booth out. I'm like, hey, we were a big part of the night.
Yeah, you're like, hey, that photo that you took in my photo booth,
Yes.
you better tag me before you upload that.
Seriously, so I guess this is just a little tip for our vendors out there. If you're going to be tagging vendors, make sure you tag everyone. It's like we all worked so hard for this wedding, and let's help each other. Let's tag each other and make sure that we show people that we were a team for this particular wedding.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's so annoying when they don't do that. Sometimes I just let it go, but sometimes I'm like, no, like I really want to be part of this post because it was such a beautiful wedding. It was most of the time, I don't personally go tell them like, hey, tag me. But what I do is like I go comment on the post. And then like 2 seconds later they tag me. Yeah, but sometimes you just forget.
Right.
So of course, we work with so many vendors, so sometimes it's it's understandable. We forget. But most of the time, the planner sends out an email with everybody that is involved, and they normally put their social media handles. So just a little PSA for our vendors out there.
Yeah, super important. And honestly, it only helps. It helps you. It helps your friend.
Yeah.
It helps everybody involved. So definitely a good tip.
All right, Boo. So we are out of time. Thank you so much.
Yes.
All the information you gave us is incredibly helpful.
Thank you.
So thank you for for finally making it out here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And I'm sure we'll have you again at some point. And I feel like I can talk to you for hours and hours and hours. And every time I talk to you, I get some good scoop. We gossip, we talk, it's just always so fun.
Yes, for sure. I enjoyed being here and I would love to come back.
Awesome. Thanks, Boo, to our listeners, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Tipsy Guest podcast. If you know someone who could benefit from these tips, spread the love and share it with them. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Next round's on us. Same time, same place. Cheers! This podcast is brought to you by MVP Photo Booth, the #1 photo booth rental company in San Antonio, Austin, and Central Texas.